Hello, I'm David Sipeth, founder of the Growth Consultants International and the author of this team performance system along with Alan Drexler. And this video is a little walkthrough of our new Team Leader Guide 2.0, which is chock full of new best practices, completely rewritten for virtual and face-to-face hybrid teams, and also completely re-illustrated. So enjoy as I walk you through this book. Here's the new Team Leader Guide 2.0 that adds more than a dozen virtual best practices to our well-known team performance model, and also includes a complete rewrite of the book to cover both face-to-face and virtual meetings, because many of the practices in the first version are quite good for working online. Inside, of course, is a table of contents, and then we've added a list of all 103 practices in the front so you can immediately find them easily. It starts out looking at the leader and what the leader has to do to think about teamwork. And there are quite a number of pages here that describe that, including a model with the 4 elements that are most important to pay attention to as a leader. That would be setting direction, facilitating relationships, developing competencies, and driving for results. It goes on to cover many types of teams, but the main thing that you want to do when you're working on team development is make sure that the team is working on tasks which require cooperation. And this is an interdependence check activity that's described here that's very effective for getting started with team development. Now it goes on to talk about all the different kinds of teams that you might have: cross-boundary teams, single unit teams, virtual and hybrid teams, what happens when you have diverse cultures in teams. And basically, one way or another, you're going to have to be dealing with these 7 types of archetypal meetings: orientations, goal alignment, project planning, decision making, progress reviews, creative problem solving, action learning. All of these things often require a lot of cooperation and shared language, which is what the team performance system allows for you. Now, the key to the book is this team performance model, which many of you maybe are familiar with, but it starts with orienting to why you're there, the purpose, then who you're going to work with, what are you doing, and finally, bottom line, how you're going to do it: resources, decisions allocated, and assigned roles. And you want the organization to meet you in your commitment as a team, overcome those constraints, and regain freedom and high performance. Now, following the model is a history of how it came to be developed with Alan Drexler, and then each of the stages of the model describes it in detail with the 3 different keys that tell you when that stage has been handled well. In this case, orientation: is the team's purpose clear? Is there some way that people can identify with the team? And what about membership? Are you feeling included? So each one of these then goes through and describes the model. Now, the bulk of the book is organized around the 7 stages of team performance, and each one of those stages is indicated by a little blue mark in the side so that you can flip to that part of the book pretty easily. Inside are best practices. These are all uniformly 1 page at a glance. And this is an example of a virtual best practice and what is normally a face-to-face practice, although it can be done online as well. Each one has a title. It has a benefits statement that tells why you want to do it, either a computer screen or a chart graphic that's key to it, a set of steps of how you actually do the activity, and then some tips that keep you from falling into some very common traps. And each one of the best practices is keyed then to when in the team performance process you would most likely introduce it first. So in this case, you would do this virtual meeting planning under step 1, but you would then again repeat that in later stages. So we put the best practices in where they most likely are introduced. Here's another example of a virtual best practice: how you do creative opening activities. This is especially important when people are on Zoom screens and things. Again, it lists all the best practices that are here. Now, in the back of the book are a set of strategies around 13 items, and in the very back cover, there are 13 of these listed out here, and each one of them has a sequence of collection of best practices that will help you master that challenge. In this case, team formation. Here's one that's around how you do the virtual meetings. Here's one around how you do relationship building. So this is the Team Performance Guide. 103 best practices, all page at a glance. Every one of these has been tried and true, is basically the basis of all the gross effective work over the years with teams. So enjoy Team Leadership Guide 2.0.